Back to Besa starts right now on Fox 13.
Welcome to another episode of Back to Besa. I'm your host, Besa Gordon. This week on the show, we're highlighting local Black businesses and also celebrating baseball being back. So you already know, it's time to grab your snacks. This week on Back to Besa, Vibe Bingo comes to Seattle and highlights 15 women-owned businesses with their vendors market while also raising money for baseball and softball beyond borders. We go to Capitol Hill to highlight a Black-owned crystal shop called Sankofa Boutique. We head to Rainier Playfield for the ribbon cutting of the new baseball and softball field. We head to T-Mobile Park to meet with T-Mobile Park's executive chef, Chef Javier Rosa, to learn all about the new food hitting the ballpark this season. We talk with Free from Circle of Fire and Soul Shifters to learn all about Red Bull's Lords of the Floor, which is coming back to Seattle for the first time in over 20 years. Traveling While Black is back to give us some of their favorite places to go hiking around Western Washington. Plus, we have events to know about. So remember a few weeks back when I told you all about Vibe Bingo and how it's taking the region by storm? If so, you might remember me saying how it's not your grand's bingo. Like, the bingo card might look the same, but in this case, you match the songs the DJ is playing rather than the numbers in that big clear container. Oh, and there's karaoke. Anywho, last weekend, Vibe Bingo made its way to Seattle over at Victory Hall, right across the street from T-Mobile Park for a special Ladies' Night edition in honor of Women's History Month, with a portion of the proceeds going to softball and baseball beyond borders. Plus, what made this Vibe Bingo special was the focus on women-owned businesses. And believe me, there were a lot of them, 15 to be exact, with everything I needed. Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. Right now, we are over at Victory Hall for Ladies' Night Vibe Bingo. But this one is special. Not only are we doing Vibe Bingo, but believe it or not, some of the proceeds are actually going to baseball and softball beyond borders. Plus, it is still Women's History Month, so we have 15 amazing women vendors in the building. We're gonna check out who's here. Of course, I'm gonna do some shopping, but even more so, we got some Vibe Bingo vibes going on. What's really making this so dope is that we don't just have one type of vendor. Oh, there's food, there's clothes, there's shea butter. You know your girl is always ashy. We have some different hair products and even more. The ladies are putting it down for Women's History Month, and honestly, I can't wait to show you some of the things that I saw as my favorite.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Jazz from Seattle. Welcome to Vibe Bingo. Today we're hosting an event at Victory Hall called Vibe Bingo, and we're honoring the ladies of hip hop, the first ladies of hip hop. We also have a Black vendor marketplace where we're highlighting Black-owned, female-owned businesses. We have 15 vendors today, all Black-owned, all female-owned businesses. Vibe Bingo has a following of its own, and it's a vibe. Obviously, people come out and show up to have a good time. We thought it was important to add the vendor aspect to honor and highlight women-owned, female Black businesses in the King County and Seattle area. We just wanted to highlight, because it's Women's History Month, and let them shine and give them some spotlight here today. So I feel like it's important to create these spaces and create marketplaces for Black vendors because we always don't have the opportunity to sell inside of stores, right? Black community has niche objects and items that we need, that we want. So it's important for me to showcase those vendors and have them be able to have a space so they can sell their products.
I think that the pop-up scene is going to be really, really important, especially for small businesses who can't afford to get brick and mortars after COVID and maybe had one like myself prior to COVID, and things have changed. The customer base has changed. It's really important to get in front of customers, let them know about your services, your products, and what you have going on. So I think when you have a pop-up, you're able to see different customer bases, you get to see different people, and you're able to get a new market for your brand. This feels really collaborative. I love a good community event. It just turns us up, it lets us know where we're at as a people, and it just lets us know that we are supporting each other. We're not crabs in a barrel. What we're doing is really apples on a tree. We're making sure that everything is cohesive, we're giving each other feedback, and we're letting each other grow and nurturing each other within that growth. So that's really important.
If they're missing Vibe Bingo right now, they're missing where the party's at. If they're tired of that same old two-step and they just don't want to do the wobble, they should come vibe with us. Because we take it to another level each and every time. And there's so many different editions, you never want to miss one because you never know what will happen. We take it all the way from the 90s to the 2000s to ladies first to rock. We have a rock one coming up next month.
It's an amazing feeling to be a part of uplifting Black women in their businesses, to give them a space to curate and to show their hard work and their dedication and everything that they've been trying to contribute to their businesses. This is a great place for marketing. This is a great place to grab new clients. So it's a blessing and an honor to be a part of that, and I hope to continue to do so.
You know, I've said it once before, Vibe Bingo is so much more than just bingo. It's more than just you coming in, sitting down, and punching a card. This week's Vibe Bingo, dude, we have women from all over the greater Seattle area coming together, and they're also raising money for baseball and softball beyond borders. Like, talk about women power in the midst of Women's History Month. I want to shout out to all the ladies because honestly, it's so beautiful to see you all coming together in one space where there's a vibe of bingo, but also the vibe of showing each other support within their businesses. Okay, so Vibe Bingo definitely didn't disappoint. Seattle really showed up and showed out. Much love to the Vibe Bingo crew. You can catch them over at vibebingo.com, as well as Baseball and Softball Beyond Borders, which you can support over at baseballbeyond.org. Of course, thank you to all the amazing women-owned businesses that were in the house. I spent way too much money, or shall I say way more than I expected, but honestly, it was worth it. Speaking of women-owned businesses, some of you know that I love crystals, and I've been into them and the positive vibes that they bring to my personal life since I was about 19 years old. Well, a few weeks ago, I found out about a Black-owned crystal shop in the Cap Hill area, and it's actually owned by Sharika Wilson, and earlier this week, I finally had the opportunity to stop by and check it out. And let me tell you, I had to share this local gem with all of my crystal lovers out there. Let's take a moment to learn more about Sankofa Boutique. Hey guys, right now we are in Capitol Hill over at Sankofa Boutique. As you guys know, your girl loves her some crystals, and right now I recently found out about a Black-owned crystal shop, and I definitely had to share it with you. This space is actually owned by Sharika Wilson, and dude, there's actually more than just crystals in here. So today we are gonna tap in with Sharika, learn about this shop, find out how long they've been here, what other items that they offer, what other services that she offers, and so much more. Let's check it out.
My name is Sharika Wilson, and I am the owner of Sankofa Boutique here in Capitol Hill, Seattle. I am a Seattle native. I moved back 3 years ago, and I noticed that a lot of things have changed in the city, so I wanted to just come back to a familiar place. I saw this vacant spot, and I was like, wow, that would be a great spot for me to have my shop. Originally, I just started buying crystals. One day I just saw some crystals and they were calling me and drawing me in. I kept walking around shopping and I kept going back to them like, maybe this is something that I'm supposed to be buying. So I bought it, and it worked. My first crystals were tiger's eye, jade, and fluorite, and that's a really good combination together. Actually, the healing properties, they're very strong, and when combined, wow, like they totally worked for me, and I was just amazed by it. So I started buying more and more crystals and telling my friends about them and showing them to them and letting them borrow them. Hey, hold this, you need this. And like, just put it in your sock, put it in your bra, sleep with it. I was just telling them, you know, little tips to how to use them. When they come in the door, I pretty much take on their energy so I can feel exactly how they're feeling. I know if they're in a bad mood, a good mood, if they're going through something and they're hiding it. I can feel it because I'm an empath, so I generally just think of the crystals that I would like to use if I was in that energy, feeling that way that they were feeling, and that helps me recommend the best crystals for them. And they do come back and say, hey, everything you gave me, they work, thank you so much, I'm so happy, or I got the job, or I left my partner that was so mean to me, or, you know, there's always success stories and I love hearing them. When you first buy your crystals, you definitely want to cleanse them, sage them, put them under the moonlight, the sunlight, cleanse them in the ocean, do something to get the energy that's currently in that crystal out of it. You want your energy with that crystal. You want to set your intentions. You want to speak your intentions out loud. That's why it's called spelling, because you're writing and you're speaking things out and you're making things change in the universe by just putting the right energy out. If anybody needs any help with getting started on their spiritual journey, they can just come in, we can talk and figure out a plan.
All right, you guys, that was Sankofa Boutique right here in Capitol Hill. Dude, like I said, I am just thrilled to not only find this boutique, but it is a Black-owned metaphorical crystal shop. Like, how can you go wrong with that? And the crystals are absolute quality, okay? So, dude, next time you need some crystals, or maybe even if you have some questions about which ones would work best for you, pull up. Sharika can definitely help you out. I am going to get into my bag, aka you already know I couldn't leave here empty-handed, and I'm also going to have some fun playing with my goodies. But until next time, again, make sure you pull up the Sankofa Boutique next time you need some crystals. When I tell you I've been telling everyone about this place, plus I've gotten a lot of compliments on the different accessories I actually got from there. If you're in the Capitol Hill area and you're looking for crystals, candles, incense, or even artwork, I highly suggest checking out Sankofa Boutique. We're off to our first commercial break, but when we come back, we're learning more about Red Bull's Lords of the Floor event that's coming to Seattle. You're watching Back to Besa. Welcome back to Back to Besa. Did you know that one of the biggest legendary dance battles in the world is coming back to Seattle on April 6th? I am talking about the Red Bull Lords of the Floor returning to the Emerald City after over 20 years. It brings the world's best break dancers to compete head-to-head before many of them fly off to Paris to compete in the 2024 Summer Olympic Games. Lords of the Floor will be hosted by Tacoma's own Jo Koy and will feature a performance from Common. Clearly, there's a lot going on, so I caught up with Free from Circle of Fire and Soul Shifters to get the scoop on the show and also what else Red Bull has been doing in the community leading up to the event. Really quick about Free, he is one of the founding members of Circle of Fire, which was considered one of the most innovative breakdance crews back in the 90s and was started right here in Seattle almost 30 years ago. And to this day, dude, you can catch them finding a vibe at different local clubs, getting on the dance floor and literally lighting it up with their electric moves. Plus, he also founded Soul Shifters, a collective of videographers, graffiti artists, musicians, photographers, and more. Let's tap in with Free to learn more about Red Bull's Lords of the Floor. All right, Free, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Now, let me tell you, I've gone to, or at least I've always wanted to go to Lords of the Floor, and it's been about 20 years. So for those that have never actually gone, dude, tell us a little bit about it and what it is.
Red Bull has brought the best of the best in the United States, the best duos in breaking. So you have people represent from the West Coast, Midwest, all the way to the East Coast. So taking the top grade 8 of best duos in the US and having to compete.
And when you say breaking, you're talking about breakdancing.
Yes, breakdancing, yes. Media calls it breakdancing, yeah. But you know, us hip hop heads, we call it b-boying or breaking, b-girling.
So you go through the competition, everyone battles it out. What do you get at the end?
You know, with breaking, it's bragging rights. You know, it's always about being the best, you know, taking yourself and challenging yourself to go against the best of the best. So it's really for bragging rights, and not just that, you know, it's just a whole community coming together. A lot of things happening.
Now, speaking of a lot of things happening, if I'm not mistaken, this is kind of like a send-off to the Olympics for some of the dancers.
Yes.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know, breaking or breakdancing have come a long way. So this is kind of like a way to just get everybody aware of what's happening. The Olympics is hosting breaking for the first time. Wow. So 2024, we're gonna have breakdancing in the Olympics, and that's a huge deal. So this is kind of like a way for everybody to get, you know, kind of aware of what's happening and support, you know, support the community, support their countries. Olympics, a big deal.
Now, yourself, you actually represent Circle of Fire and Soul Shifters. How did you get into breakdancing?
Man, I'm not gonna age myself, but just like a lot of people, I've seen the movie Beat Street. For any of you guys know, it's a hip hop movie focused on breaking in New York City. So I got inspired from the movie, and from then on, you know, just kept practicing, traveling around the world, meeting new people, learning new things, and it's been, you know, going on 20 plus years.
Does this almost feel like a full circle moment for you? Being able, like, you know,
you're here,
you've like done so much in your career now.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's very special. And, you know, again, to be doing it at this stage and, you know, for doing it this long and still having an impact with the community. You know, it's very special. A lot of people are really excited to, you know, go see this. Again, you're gonna have OGs that but represent and still represent till this day. You know, gonna get down with the new generation, having that exchange, you know, and bridging that gap. When you've never seen a battle before, it's crazy, okay? Because what you get to see is people really getting down, staring people down, and you know, they really want to take their heads off in terms of battling. That's what the breaking is. You know, you're gonna see people getting burnt, you're gonna see people getting dissed, you're gonna see some incredible moves. I mean, imagine head spins, right? People are flying right now. I mean, you got kids basically flying. All these moves you probably haven't even seen before, and it's just amazing what the human body can do. You're gonna see some air flares, you're gonna see some dynamic moves, flips, but you're also gonna see some flavor. There's gonna be some footwork, there's gonna be some top rocking, there's gonna be some dope freezes. And then, you know, if you've never been to a battle before, you're gonna get into it. Because once you see these people pull out these moves, you just gotta give it up. You know, a lot of us, we just raise our hand and say, oh, when you see a move, and it's gonna be dope. Man, again, you can't miss it. April 6th, Lords of the Floor, Red Bull, Seattle.
So as you can see, April 6th is going down at WAMU, and your girl will be right there taking in all the action. Tickets are on sale now, and you can pick yours up today by visiting Ticketmaster.com. Now, although Lords of the Floor's main event is on April 6th at WAMU, like Free said, the Red Bull team has been active out here in these Emerald City streets for the past few weeks, tapping in with different hip-hop culture communities, and part of their outreach has included discussions, workshops, and even literally putting some paint where it ain't on some barren walls across the city. Not too long ago, we caught up with world-renowned graffiti artists Totem, Charms, and Graves over in West Seattle as they brought an empty wall to life with their artistic graffiti touch.
We're here today in Seattle at the West Side Wall as we're getting ready to prepare for Lords of the Floor 2004. We have the honor and the privilege to bring out some of the legends today from Seattle and from across the world. We have the legendary Totem here painting with us in murals throughout the city. This amazing wall here, that's actually one of the walls dedicated to the city. We had about 10 to 15 artists come out and paint with Totem. Just create a moment for the community, you know, something we plan to do in the future. Just bringing it back full circle again. This was just an opportunity for us to give back and pay homage to the city and actually have him come out and meet some of the up-and-coming artists and talent throughout the city.
Back in 2001, Red Bull Lords of the Floor was doing their second event in Seattle, and they needed some graffiti artists, and I just so happened to be friends with one of the best graffiti artists in the world, Totem too, and he brought out his boy Kim's, and we were able to go to the dopest breakdance competition that ever existed.
The Lords of the Floor at the time, when that jam had came out, it was almost like different than any other jam, b-boy jam that you've ever been to. It had a little bit more of an edge to it. It was a bit darker, a little bit more rough and rugged, like the traditional b-boying that I know, you know, from the New York way. You know, so many years you kind of like, as you get older, you accumulate friends. And in all that time, I was able to make a deep relationship with this guy, Charms, the Seattle's own. This guy right here, honestly, he's the one who brought me to see this. And it was really nice to kind of like bring this back with him involved, and to where him and I could actually express on a nice wall like that.
Graffiti can make something that is just so bland, like this black wall that would have been here, make it more lively and show representation for the city and the culture, not just hip hop culture, but for the city, if it's done tastefully like these murals. Like, be inspired to do graffiti and be able to find murals to do for themselves and find help in art instead of help in the streets.
Graffiti is the first American-born art form. Every other art form comes from somewhere else. Everything comes from Africa, from Asia, from Europe. Every form of art that you know of, pencil and ink, pen and ink, brush painting, charcoal, sculpture, wood burn, everything you can think of was made somewhere else. This medium, graffiti as a medium itself, is homegrown. That's true Americana. And coming from Atlanta, it was really important for me to really let people know that some of the best of this medium comes from right here, from our soil. And nobody as nice as me.
You look at what kids are doing with b-boying now, and it's beyond dope. And the stuff that we grew up with around Seattle with ABC Crew and Boss Crew and Massive Monkeys, to see that on a next level. Don't miss out. Lords of the Floor, April 6th at WAMU Theater.
Hey, what's up? It's Charms 1. I'm doing live painting with Totem 2 at Red Bull Lords of the Floor, Seattle, at the WAMU Theater. Come check us out. It's a don't miss event. You're gonna wanna be there.
Catch me painting live at Lords of the Floor, April 6th at WAMU Theater. Spray you later.
One thing I can say for sure is that it's good to see that Red Bull is actually investing time, energy, and money into the community beyond just the main event. Some of the things they are doing will leave a lasting impression on the culture as well as the art in the streets. I'm definitely checking out the live painting, and I have to see Totem do his thing. That being said, who's coming to the Lords of the Floor with me? Dude, I have a few pairs of tickets that I'm trying to give away, and I want you to be there. So in order to enter, you want to go to whereweconverge.com/back-to-Besa to enter and win. And I'll see you on the floor. We're off to a commercial break, but when we come back, it's all about one of my favorite sports, baseball. You already know, you're watching Back to Besa. Welcome back to Besa. Last Saturday at Rainier Playfield in South Seattle, I was able to witness the Seattle Mariners, Major League Baseball, and the City of Seattle deliver on a promise they all made last July during All-Star to renovate Rainier Playfield into a world-class ballpark by installing turf, which would allow for baseball games and practices to occur despite the rainy Seattle weather, as well as other facility upgrades that will benefit all who use the park. Safe to say, promise made, promise delivered. Last Saturday was the official ribbon cutting, and I was there for the Rainier Little League Parade and the official opening. Let's check it out.
Today is really a celebration of community and a celebration of baseball and softball here in South Seattle in Rainier Playfields. This is a legacy investment in partnership with Major League Baseball and our hometown Seattle Mariners, who promised us that when the All-Star Games came here last year, there would be an ensuing legacy for kids to have places to play on updated, all-new infields. And that's what we're celebrating today.
Well, I always think it's the kids that play on it that make it special. So anytime you invest in a field, there needs to be programming to support that field so that for years to come, kids are building lifetime memories, life lessons, the legacy of their family playing on this field. You know, it's timely because last year at this very time, there had been an email out from Seattle Parks and Recreation. They had to cancel games at some fields, and that's just how it is here in the Northwest where it's so rainy. But last night there was a game by Franklin Varsity Baseball that was here on this field. It wouldn't have been played if it were not for this turf infield here.
It was my first game on the new turf. Last inning, got my first varsity hit, right field. In the last inning, it was a really special moment to get to have that on this new field for my first game. It's helped our program at Franklin tremendously because this is our home field. So practices and games, we no longer have to cancel because of rain. And it just makes the hops and everything, the game so much more smooth for us.
To me, it's actually a gift to a little girl, me, who played Little League when I was 12 years old. And I still remember the fields that I played on. And yes, they weren't turf fields, but they're special. And so to have a field that also makes it easier to play, makes those bounces a little easier on the ground balls, makes it possible for more kids to come out here.
This is a neighborhood park. It's a neighborhood play field. It's for the families here. It's for the kids who live around here. We got Rainier Vista right across the street. We got Franklin High School down the street. This playfield is already getting used the way it should be, and I can't wait to see how it gets used even more in the spring and summer.
This field, why we're here today, is for all of you. It's going to be so cool for Washington State and for the whole country to look at Seattle for that game. But
What we really wanted to do was make sure that that game had a positive impact for all of our communities.
We want to attract all kids to our game, but we feel a special obligation to make sure that there's no economic barrier to any kid playing baseball. We feel it's particularly important to make an investment in communities where playing opportunities have not been historically available. That involves programming, field renovations, and making sure kids, no matter where they live, have an opportunity to play what we think is the greatest game in the world.
To be honest, I was pretty emotional driving over here today because in July, when we broke ground on this project, I knew there were still some obstacles to get through, because anytime you do a field project, you learn stuff about what's in the dirt, or you learn other pieces that you've got to find solutions for.
To me, the real excitement is how we're able to give back to kids after the games, after the lights are taken down, after the fans go away, after the cameras leave. It's what's left behind that really matters. And what was fantastic about this project is that it was high quality from day one.
A ribbon cutting for a field opening is just the start. To me, the real commitment that's being made by the Mariners and by the Little Leagues here, the high school programs, is that we're going to keep working together to keep that pipeline together.
It was really great being there, in the rain by the way, and seeing so many happy kids who were all excited about baseball and softball. We heard how the field is already making a difference for the Franklin High School baseball and softball teams, as they no longer have to cancel practice or games due to the field conditions. Big shout out to the Mariners, Major League Baseball, the City of Seattle, Rainier District Little League, Seattle Parks and Recreation, Franklin High School, and all the local businesses involved in the planning and construction of the new playfield for ensuring that All-Star Week 2023 left a gift that remains for the youth of South Seattle and beyond. I don't know about you, but your girl's getting a little hungry. So we're going to head to a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to T-Mobile Park to learn about all the new foods hitting the ballpark this season. Of course, you're watching Back to Besa. Welcome back to Besa. It's finally baseball season, y'all, and for the second year in a row, yours truly got invited to the annual Mariners food preview over at T-Mobile Park. This is where media professionals from all over the region are invited for a sneak peek, or shall I say sneak taste, of all the good stuff on the menu this season at the ballpark, and also hear about all the food concepts from T-Mobile Park executive chef, Chef Javier Rosa. You might remember Chef Rosa, who took good care of me at last year's preview and even showed us how to make taquitos over at Edgar's Cantina later in the season. Well, Chef did not disappoint this year and put your girl onto all the goodies. Let's dig in.
All right, you guys, right now we are at T-Mobile Park in the press club. Dude, in case you can't tell what's going on, it is the 2024 food preview. You know we do this every single year. We want to make sure that you guys know what foods that you can expect when you come to the ballpark. Plus, we got to chat with Chef Javier Rosa, so that way we can get a little bit of tea about his thoughts on what new foods that he's bringing to us this year. But yo, I just got here, so let's see what we got to eat this time. How are you doing, Chef?
I'm doing great. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having us. Look, you invite all of us media people out here every year to try all of your foods. Last year we had some amazing things, but we're not talking about last year. What can we look forward to this year?
I'm telling you, this year I've been here and that's my third season. I don't know if I've ever been so excited. I believe this year the reason is because after the season was over, we sit down as a team, Sodexo Labs and T-Mobile Park, the Mariners, and we just start talking about what the people like, what the people were not buying that much. And we just decided to go in as a team to bring something new, to change some menus, tweak everything around. We have marination, doing some vegan, tofu, tots, I'm not vegan, and I tell you, I can eat them every day. That means that people will love that as well. We have butter pizza, doing a mini rigatoni pasta with margarine, cheese, parmesan, mozzarella, just great. We got moro pizza, going with the crab pizza with lemon, parmesan cheese as well. We got the barbecue stand that I create a pork belly slider. If you like pork belly, you have to go to my barbecue stand and have that one. I love Cuban sandwiches. I was waiting for the moment to introduce that in the ballpark. And Misha Garber loved it, and I was able to put it up. And we have a California chicken sandwich with a fried avocado wedges and crispy bacon that is to die for. We join those two sandwiches, and it's just great.
I always have to thank you for chatting with me. I cannot wait to try some of this food. I purposely came here hungry. I'm gonna let you guys know what my favorite things are. In the meantime, between time, what should I try first?
Please be my guest. You better start with everything. I'm telling you, I cannot tell you, just go around. Just pace yourself and try everything, because you're gonna love everything this year.
Awesome, you already know I'm gonna do that.
Perfect. Nice having you.
All right, everybody, you just checked out all the amazing foods I got a chance to try for the new baseball season. If I have to give you my favorites, it's a little hard, but I love the chicken wings, I love the ribs, I love the soft burritos, the shrimp taquitos. I also love the crab pizza. Trick, you want to add a little bit of lemon juice to it. Trust me and thank me later. But what I will say is this, there is something here for everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're a picky eater or not. You're going to find something that you love. Either way, I'll see you guys this season at the ballpark. And if you do see me, make sure you let me know what your favorite food was. Okay, I already know, yes, my plate was stacked up. But dude, you heard Chef Rosa. He literally told me to try everything, and who am I to say no? Now, on the real though, the food was slapping, and some of my favorites were the ribs, chicken wings, crab pizza, and even the new vegan ice cream. Thank you, Chef Rosa and his team over at Sodexo Live for the bomb food, and the Seattle Mariners for the invite. You guys can take my word for it, the food in the ballpark this season is on point. All right, now that we know what food to try this season when we head to T-Mobile Park, we're about to take another commercial break. But when we come back, we're rejoined by our friends Anthony and Marley Love of Traveling While Black to talk about their favorite places to go hiking around Western Washington. Welcome back to Besa. Traveling While Black. Dude, did you know that Anthony and Marley Love from Traveling While Black actually have produced over 150 episodes highlighting locations and destinations all across the Pacific Northwest and even places as far away as Belize? I see y'all. That being said, the Loves are all about their love of outdoors and especially hiking. And this week, they tap in to let us know some of their favorite hiking locations, including Tiger Mountain, Wallace Falls, and more. Let's lace up and get hiking.
Hey, what's up, Besa? After 156 episodes, we can say that we have definitely had some dope hiking experiences.
In celebration for our current hiking series, we wanted to show you a few of those hikes we've taken in the past and definitely recommend.
First, starting with episode 55, when we took a trip to Tiger Mountain in 2021. After checking out the fall, it was time to hit the Tiger Mountain for a hike.
One thing we must point out is that Tiger Mountain has a multitude of trailheads. For our trip, we originally went to the wrong trailhead, but eventually we found the one which was close to a parking lot and had easy access.
Also, a heads up, Tiger Mountain is not only a pedestrian trail for hiking, but also a mountain bike trail, perfect for mountain biking. We did have to dodge a few bikers on the way up, but still, our hike was beautiful and peaceful.
It was beautiful. If you like hiking or biking, you will absolutely love trekking Tiger Mountain. And if you're more of a beginner or less of a tryhard, there are some easy trails.
Unfortunately, on this trip, we couldn't make it all the way to the top, but we still got in a good enough workout.
Whether it's for exercise or just to experience nature, Tiger Mountain is absolutely a great choice on a beautiful day.
In 2022, in episode 89, we visited Wallace Falls, which was our first time hiking in a long time. The real question was, will we be physically able to at least make it to the beautiful views at the end? So, Wallace Falls is what the hiking experts call a waterfall hike. All the trails on the hike lead you to beautiful views of, you guessed it, a waterfall.
Wallace Falls is a 3-hour hike from start to peak destination. That's including a 30-minute break. The hike is broken up in 3 different phases that show an awesome view of the fall.
Since our expert recommended Middle Falls as being the best of all views, we were determined to make it that 2.1 miles to that point.
The hike was awesome. You traverse through beautiful untouched coniferous forests, up close to running streams and rushing rivers. But unfortunately, it was we who were not awesome.
Yeah, y'all, it was bad. Your girl caught a cramp. We had to make a few stops a few times, but even so, we did make it to Lower Falls, and that was really beautiful.
Oh yeah, the view from Lower Falls was awesome in itself. And even though we weren't that far from the Middle Falls, we thought it best to turn around considering Mars leg cramps.
Even with our struggles this time at Wallace Falls, we still give it a 5 out of 5 for level of fun. Of course, these are but a few of the hikes we've experienced throughout our travels. You can check out those as well as a full overview of those options in our other episodes.
And of course, that is the spot to see our newest hiking adventures for this year.
And again, you can see these hiking episodes as well as our other episodes on our YouTube channel at Traveling While Black and on our TikTok page at TWB Seattle.
Until next time, beautiful people, stay up, stay true, and do you.
I think one of the dopest things about Traveling While Black is that they reinforce that nature is for everybody. Oftentimes, many of us, especially from the inner city, feel distant from nature or that we don't belong. The Loves are breaking down this myth and changing the narrative one adventure at a time. And for that, I thank you. Make sure you keep up with Anthony and Marley Love by visiting travelingwhileblackseattle.com. Okay, friends, we're off to another commercial break, but when we come back, it's time for events to know about. Welcome back to Besa. I'm your host, Besa Gordon, and it's time for events to know about, where I tell you about all the events happening around the city you don't want to miss. So let's jump right into it. First up. Now, Beetlejuice is coming to Seattle. I definitely can't wait to see this one. It'll be over at the Paramount starting on April 2nd. On April 3rd, Cody Shane with special guest is coming to Seattle. They'll actually be performing over at Nectar Lounge. I haven't seen Cody perform in a minute, so I already know this is going to be a vibe. Seattle Jazz Ed is having their soundtrack for the Future Gala over at Amazon Meeting Center. This is going down April 4th. Now, I don't know how I missed this one, but Ludacris will be performing at Emerald Green Casino on Thursday, April 4th. Jo Koy is going to be over at Climate Pledge Arena April 5th. And of course, we already told you on the 6th, he's going to be hosting Red Bull's Lords of the Floor. Saturday, April 6th is also Seattle Night Market's Taco Libre Truck Showdown. You know, I love me some food, so I'm definitely going to pop up for that for a little bit. Vibe Bingo, old school R&B only, is also Saturday, April 6th. This is happening at 1523 Pike Street, Northwest over in Auburn. April 19th through the 21st is the Northwest Naturals Expo. And of course, we told you all about that last week when we had Kariba Jack herself, who was actually the curator of this particular event, give us all the tea on what's going down this year. April 24th through the 28th, Disney's Aladdin is coming to the Paramount Theater. On April 30th, Child Monet Exchange is coming to Neptune Theater. And lastly, A Boogie with a Hoodie is going to be over at Climate Pledge Arena on May 18th. That's it for this week's events to know about. Hopefully you found something dope to do around the city. And of course, if you have an event that I should know about, and also, of course, shout out next week, send me an email, backtobesa@wherewecconverge.com. We're off to our last commercial break, but when we come back, it's Affirmation of the Week. Back to Besa. In case you're new here, every week we like to end the show with an affirmation, mantra, or quote. This week's quote is, don't make a habit out of choosing what feels good over what is actually good for you. And of course, that is from Eric Thomas. Look, I'm gonna be honest, over the last couple months, everyone has been telling me that I look different and that I'm losing a lot of weight and that I'm glowing. And honestly, I've been eating a lot of ice cream and doing nothing even close to dieting. But what I have done differently is I've actually stopped drinking. So for about 2 months, I have not drank any liquor. And what's interesting is that this one thing that I really do enjoy, it's something that helps me sometimes have fun when I go out, helps me sleep at night. I enjoy drinking wine while I'm watching wrestling, as you guys might remember from my David Paul interview, but obviously it was doing something to my outer appearance that people are noticing a difference in me. So what I want to say to you is, what your thing is that might feel good to you might not be as dramatic as drinking and having to stop drinking cold turkey. But we all know there is one thing that we are doing out of habit that feels good rather than it actually being good for us. What I want for you to do is really think about it, write it down. You already know what I'm gonna say. You don't have to share it with anybody but yourself, but you gotta be honest with yourself about it. That way you can start doing something about it. Now that's it for this week's episode of Back to Besa. I hope you all enjoyed this week's show. Of course, if you have anything you want me to know about, shoot me an email, backtobesa@whereweconverge.com. And until next week, for everyone that celebrates, I want to wish you all a happy, happy Easter, and I hope it's filled with positive vibes that help you start your week off right. And also, thank you for your support of Back to Besa, and you already know what I'm going to say to you. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, and of course, keep that energy high.